Okay, hey everybody, I hope my quality isn't garbage, because I heard my last video and it sucked. The sound sucks. Hold up. Let me try to do something real quick. I gotta turn off my TV. Okay. It's for the perfect dark room lighting, you know how it be. Okay. Under the blankets, alright. This part 3 to what if deku was a vaal hazak. Now, each time I forgot that only girls can have quirks. So I was saying he, so I forgot that only girls had quirks. So each of them was a girl. And hold on. A Rathian. Yeah, there's no Rathalos in this world, it's just Rathians. So Deku, since he won all his fights, got noticed more by other fighters. Or people that want to become a fighter. Or have a fighter. So, people started coming to the orphanage knowing that they were the ones that had the fighter. And they'll come in wanting to adopt vaal with quotation marks. So they come in and they go to the person at the desk and say vaal hazak. So they know that they understand, so they take them to the place where they keep him, aka a dungeon. He's in a cage. And they ask how much. So the lady says, "What's your price? What's your offer?" He says 500,000. She's like, "Deal, motherfucker. He's been winning 50,000 for us. Get it." So they take him home. Deku's scared, obviously, because abusive home his entire life, sorta. So yeah. And he's taken to another place, and he gets thrown into a cage. He's in human form right now, and he gets thrown in a cage with a female. And don't worry, it's not a ship, she's older than him. It was, let's say, Inko's sister. Or Inko's cousin, sister, yeah, sister. So, she sees a child get thrown into her cage, and she's like, that's new. And at this place, they allow them to be in their human form, so hold on, let me just do... Yeah, no, this is the ship now, right? It's a female Rathian, okay? So, it's a pink Rathian, as you can see, obviously, so... She prefers that weapon, and she can inflict poisons on others. She can breathe fire. And she's born wearing a sort of armor dress, I guess. Well, I can find a better picture, probably. Well, no, she looks like a normal human. Deku was just a strange case of... Everybody looks like a normal... No. Sometimes they have cases where... they look like normal humans, but they have all the exact same powers as a wyvern or a elder dragon. So this is one of those even rarer cases. You can tell how much I'm reaching for this. So her and Deku are like 11 or 12 now. So she walks over and asks if he's okay. He's like, who are you? So she's like, I'm Samantha. Or, no, it'll be really weird if I used a girl for my skull and my friends noticed. So I'ma say... Pinky. No. Yeah, no. Hold up. Wraith. That should work, right? Wraith is a girl's name, I think. I'm pretty sure it is. So she's like, I'm Wraith. What's your name? Val? Who the fuck names their child Val? She's like, who the fuck names their child Val? And he's like, a parent that hates their son. She's like, okay. Okay, yeah. So you're a wyvern that has you're a male wyvern? He's like, yes. I didn't know. So you're a male wyvern? And he's like, no. Male and elder dragon. She's like, holy shit! I didn't know there was a such thing as male quirk users, and he was like, I guess so. So they hit the door. Some dude hits the door with a wrench. Says, Val, get your ass out of there. He's like, yes, sir. So he transforms, and she sees this monster. She's like, damn. I never thought. So he walks out into the arena, and let's say that he's fighting a Diablos, because higher rank fights call for higher rank people. And he's 12 now, so he's grown a bit. So he's almost the size of a... He's the size of a Rathian. I guess? No. He is the size of a Juratotus. A Baroth. Because I'm pretty sure... Yeah, Juratotus. So Diablos comes out, and she's looking at this scrawny little thing that looks like garbage. So she's like, I'm not taking this seriously. So she doesn't even fly, and I'm sure Diabloses can fly. They just don't in the game to make it easier, because that would be unfair as hell if it could dig underground and fly. And it has wings, so why kid in it? So she just says, am I really gonna fight this thing? Because her manager, in quotations, he flirts with her. So he's like, yes, of course, sweetie, you're gonna fight it. And she's like, okay. So she goes out there, and Deku sees this giant Diablos, and he's like, sir, excuse me, am I supposed to fight that? And he's like, yes, now get your ass in there. And hits him with like a taser, so he gets in there. And she transforms into a human Diablos, and he didn't know that they were supposed to transform. Wait, no, that's not... Yeah, she didn't. She just gets in there and is like, I'm gonna kick your ass. He's like, yes, ma'am. Damn, he's so accepting of me kicking his ass. I'm gonna enjoy this. So she digs underground and tries to attack Deku by jumping out of the ground. So she digs under, jumps out, and she impales Deku's hand. So that hurts like hell, but whilst he's on her, he breathes his toxic... He lets out the toxic gas like a bomb all over her face, so that makes her really fucking sick, and that hurts her a lot. She's... I think it's acid, that's why it hurts so much. So she's getting burned. But she doesn't care, so she lets off a roar, slams him to the ground. Deku is still holding on to her, is still on her horn, so he starts to play dead. So he's wrapping around, so he has his tail and wraps it around her neck and starts to strangle her, while she slams him down on the ground. This is his first real challenge, so he's like, oh god, no, don't kill me, please. So he's trying his best to strangle her, but then he takes his tail, unwraps it around her neck, and stabs her feet. So, and he's like, that'll make it harder for her to stand up. So she starts to stumble a little bit. So he starts to maul the shit out of her legs. So she starts to stumble a lot, so... Then he aims for the wings, because that's what he thinks she uses to dig a little bit. So he's beating the shit out of her wings. And she's still slamming him on the ground. So he's in pain. So she slams him on the ground one more time, and he plays dead. So he sits there. They're announcing the winner. And he's sucking up all the gases in the area to let out one toxic ass breath. So he jumps back up and starts to breathe his acid everywhere. His acid gas, I guess that's what it is. I don't know what it is, but it hurts like hell in the game. So he starts breathing everywhere, and it hits the diablos and is burning the shit out of her. So when he's done, he jumps onto her back and starts to bite her neck. Don't get any ideas, motherfuckers, alright? So he starts to bite the shit out of her neck and finally breaks through the skin. Because I think Diablo's skin is like hard as fuck, if I'm correct, so like, yeah. Finally breaks his skin and hits the jugular, so she finally falls down to the ground while trying to get him off. So Rathian, aka Samantha, I think I named her Samantha. No, Wraith. So Wraith has seen all this shit and she's like, damn, he's a good ass fighter. Cause she's seen the fights of people against Diablos, and she's never been beaten, from what she can tell. So Diablos hits the deck, and Deku's declared the winner. He gets sent back in to his cage, and he just goes to sleep. In his dragon form still, and she's like, what is this dude? Yeah, I don't care. No, they have beds for them. So he goes to sleep on his bed, because that's what he does every fight. Sleep and not eat for like 2 days. He has to eat whatever he kills and hope that's enough for him. So Rathian's fight comes up. Time skip. Let's say that time skip 3 years, and Bakugo has been looking for Deku all over. Cause she doesn't like him, but they're friends, okay? So it's whoever asked for the quad ship, you're sort of disgusting, but I'll still do it for you in the Genji part 2. Because you asked for it, but still, dude. Quad, man. Quad. I expected better from my fans. So this is gonna be one-on-one, not, and it's predetermined. Alright? You can't change it no matter how much you try. But Vaal doesn't even remember Bakugo, so he don't remember her. And Bakugo finally stops, so. One day, Rathian Wraith and Vaal were in their kennels. Well, we're in their kennel. Sleeping on the same bed. And no, they didn't. They did not, but they're still on the same bed. When they hear a loud boom, gush, whoosh. So they see one of the guards getting thrown to the side, through the wall to the side of the room, and they sit, and then they hear, "I am here." And Wraith and Vaal have heard of him, of All Might, but they have never been big fans of him, because they never saved them ever, not once. No one's ever saved them. So they're finally getting saved, and they're like, "What the fuck is happening?" So he busts down the wall and steps in like, "I am here." And he sees those two in a cage. So Deku transforms thinking that he's gonna hurt them and gets in front of Wraith. She's like, boy, you know I can fight, so she transforms too. So he's like, I'm just here to save you, citizens. And they're like, who the fuck you be saving? We could have left years ago. We just stayed. Well, they could have left. They could have left years ago. They just didn't know. Wait, no, they couldn't because the cages were like wyvern and dragon proof. So he breaks open the cage because they weren't all might proof. And Aizawa is there too, so he's like checking in on them, asking who are you, where are you from, what's your names, asking what they did to them. So he asked their names, and he's like, Vaal, Hazak, Wraith, and he's like, who named you Vaal, Hazak? My mother. So he's like, doesn't Vaal, Hazak mean grotesque evil? So Wraith hear this, and she starts to, and she's looking at Aizawa with the eyes that say, don't start it, don't start it. Stop it, please. So he sees this and is like, never mind. Where are your parents? In jail. Deku says in jail. Wraith says, I don't know. So they're like, okay. Do you know do you remember where you were last? Orphanage. On the street. Walking around. And he's like, damn. Wow, Zach really got a shitty-ass backstory. Shitty-ass past. So he's like, have you guys killed anyone? We were forced to. Well, Deku says we were forced to. What do you mean you were forced to? Why do you think they keep us in cages? So we can fight and get the money. So he's like, what do you mean fight and get the money? We fight other wyverns or elder dragons. I haven't seen another elder dragon though. But we fight other wyverns and get paid. And they get paid. I must say that the heroes haven't caught on to it yet, so this is the first time they're hearing of it. So he's like, come with me. So the ambulance is with them. So the ambulance is there. They're trying to cover them with blankets and give them hot chocolate. Deku doesn't know what the fuck hot chocolate is. Or what a blanket is. Because he didn't get hot chocolate, and he didn't have blankets when he was a kid, so he's like, what is this and this? Wraith is like, damn, he hasn't told me that much about his past, but, well, that's hot chocolate and that's a blanket. He's like, what are they for? Well, you drink that, and the blanket is to warm you, is to give you more warmth. And he's like, couldn't I just, like, heat myself? But can we just, like, heat ourselves up? And he's like, don't be rude, just accept it. So he's like, I'm not putting on the blanket. So he starts to drink the hot chocolate because he's not putting on that goddamn blanket. So Aizawa gets back over to them and is like, do you have anywhere to stay or go? And he's like, no. She's like, I might. My parents might not remember me, though. So he's like, okay, maybe ask who your parents are. And she's like, Wraith Midoriya, I guess. No, it's her. It's Inko's brother's daughter. So I'm gonna say the Midoriya name came from the Inko side. Sadeki hears his name and says, we're not going there. We are not ever going to a Midoriya household. And she's like, why can't we go to a Midoriya household? My parents were Midoriya. Wait, no. He says I don't want to talk about it. So she's like, were your parents Midoriya? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. And they establish a relationship, so she's like, okay. Alright, this happens. As I was like, you can stay with me if you want to. And she's like, yeah, sure, I guess we could. Can I meet my parents, though? He's like, yes, you can, but you have to go back home. You have to come back with me after we drop you off, because, no, Wraith's parents were sort of abusive, too. And they sold her off, but she didn't know, so she's like, we can go to my parents' house, and he's like, okay, but if it doesn't work, you come home with me. And Deku's past of having a single father, of having a father, is coming back to him, and having a mother, so, and he's kept that shit repressed, so it's all coming back to him, and he's like, I would rather go back to the orphanage. He's like, kid, we can't just, I'm not sending you back to an orphanage. So Azal gets them into his car, and he takes them to his house and says, you guys can sleep on the couch, Vaal, you sleep on the floor. He's like, why would I sleep on the floor? Well, you can't let the lady sit on the couch, sleep on the couch. Can't let the man sleep on the couch, you gotta let the lady. So she's like, can't we just like sleep together like we always do? And he's like, huh? And she's like, we're dating. We've been dating since we were 13. He's like, okay, that information was needed. So he was like, good night. So he goes to his room, he falls asleep. Deku and Wraith fall asleep. And Deku's having a shitty-ass nightmare. Like, a really shitty nightmare. Of his parents screaming at each other. Of his father. Of his mother getting arrested. Of his father getting arrested. Of him living in the orphanage. So he wakes up with a scream in the morning. And they're like... And Aizawa wakes up. And Wraith wakes up because, like, she's sleeping by him. And he's like... what the hell is wrong with you, Vaal? And he's like, I'll just go to the restroom. So Azal comes out and is like, what the hell is wrong with you? That was like, nightmare, nothing less, just a nightmare. He's like, what has this kid been through that caused him to be so like this? So he goes into the restroom, washes his face, and is like, so today are we going to visit my parents or something? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever, kid. You get changed, you get dressed, whatever you have to do, and get in the car. So he's looking at Deku and is like, hey, kid, why aren't you taking that off whilst you wash your face? And he's like, this is my face. He's like, oh, okay. But it's like, it's a little weird, as you can see. Wait, Aizawa's a girl. Aizawa's a girl. I just realized. I just remembered. So, Aizawa's a girl through all, doesn't... So, really, Deku's getting flashbacks of his mother the entire time. But since Aizawa be woke, she don't care about a male having a court. She's like, yeah, you can be a hero, I don't give a shit. So Aizawa takes them to Wraith's house, drives them there. So Wraith rings the doorbell, and her parents see her, and they're like, how did you get back? And she's like, Hero saved me. And he's like, I thought we got rid of you forever. We don't want you here. Leave. Cause, oh fuck, what the fuck was that? Come on, man. Leave. So she's crying about. Deku gets real angry, so he transforms. No, he gets real angry, so he walks over there, hearing them screaming at his daughter, at their daughter. So he walks over, grabs Wraith, puts her to her side, transforms, and screams at them. I swear to God, if you don't be nice to her, I will rip you apart. And trust me, I can. I saw don't do shit because she like, yeah, they deserved it. They deserved it. So, the parents are like, we still don't want her. So Deku look at them and says, that's all you had to say. and then grabs Wraith and takes her back into the car. So Aizawa gets in the car and says, "So looks like you guys are staying with me." And Deku will be like, "I guess we are." So that makes you Vaal, Hazak, Midoriya. I mean Aizawa, I guess. And you're Wraith, Aizawa. I'm still used to saying Midoriya. So it's about the beginning of the 10 months. So they enrolled. So Aizawa and no, it's like the middle of the. It's like the beginning of the last year of middle school. So Aizawa puts them in like a middle school and shit, like, you know, a middle school. Bakugo's middle school to be exact. So Deku, I guess he still has to wear a middle school uniform, but spikes and shit are protruding out, and his face is all messed up and shit. So, and his hands are metal. So like so all the kids notice that and they're like, "Damn, he has a badass quirk." And Bakugo isn't on her high having quirks, so Deku and Vaal and Wraith go into Bakugo's classroom. So tutor's like, "May you please introduce yourself?" So Wraith says, "Hi, I'm Wraith Aizawa. I have a wyvern quirk. I have a quirk. It is called Rathian. Well, pink Rathian to be exact, and I am a wyvern class." So they're like, "Wow, wyvern class. I never thought I would see one in my entire life." So then the teacher's like, "Vaal, Hazak, Aizawa, please state your name and quirk," she says with a very strange attitude, and he's like, "I'm Vaal, Hazak, Midoriya. My quirk is grotesque demon." Well, his name is Vaal Hazak, but the name of the quirk is grotesque demon, I guess. So my quirk name is grotesque demon. I am a Elder Dragon class, and they're like, "Wow." So one of them scream out, "Boys can't have quirks," and so Deku summons and transforms into, well, Vaal. So they see this and they're like, Bakugo notices that it's Deku, and she's like, "Where have you been?" And he's like, "Who are you?" "I'm Bakugo, your friend. Remember when we were kids?" And he's like, "Oh, you're the girl that bullied me and then decided to be my friend. Ah, I remember you now. She's like, "Where have you been?" "Fighting." What do you mean by fighting? "Killing." Wait, what? I don't want to talk about it any further. So then the teacher's like, "Well, apparently we have it on you guys' background is that Vaal Hazak here was abducted." Wait, no. Vaal Hazak here had abusive parents, and was endangered as a child, so he was sent to an orphanage. And apparently, the orphanage was money hungry. Then he was sold and had to kill other wyverns in fights, so... And Wraith here was abducted as a child, was sold as a child, sent to a fight, and lived there for her entire life. So they hear these backstories and like, damn, they're for sure gonna be villains. Especially the Vaal Hazak kid, he looks villainous already. Well, they don't say that about Wraith, they only say that about Deku. So Wraith and Deku sit by each other. All the guys are gawking about how hot Wraith is, and all the girls are talking about how ugly Deku is. So it's lunchtime. Vaal, Hazak, and deku, or aka Vaal, Hazak, and Wraith sit by each other. And all the boys are like, why is she sitting by that demon? So one of the guys, even though that weren't in his class and didn't know that he had a quirk, walked up to him, thinking that he's just some edgy dude. So he